What's up YouTube? Thank you so much for joining me at the Golden Roots, where we get to talk about everything related to the African continent in terms of transformations, new development, entrepreneurship, and a bit of history. So if you like the sound of them, make sure to subscribe to this channel and please share it with your friends and family and people who would be interested so that we can grow this beautiful community. For today, I have an amazing episode for you guys where we will be talking about some of the most influential African people. So without further ado, let's just get into the top 10. Let's go. At number 1, we have Rebecca Inonchong from Cameroon, who has dedicated most of her life to African entrepreneurship and the African tech ecosystem. She is the founder of Paystack and IO Spaces. Paystack is a software that provides a lot of the services for some of the biggest tech companies, including Oracle. So she's had her start working for Oracle, but then developed a new business model that would enable the best way to provide Oracle services and other tech businesses at their most efficient. And as Africa's chief tech entrepreneur, she's definitely one to follow. I'll have her Instagram link down below in the description. At number 2, we have Ismail Ahmed. One of the most influential stories, going from refugee to riches. His story is definitely one to be heard. He was smuggled out of Hargeisa, Somaliland to the UK, where to earn a living, he worked some odd jobs like strawberry picking and used that money to send back home to his family and parents that lived at a refugee camp in Ethiopia. Having that experience, he developed his career as working with the UNDP. However, he noticed fraud and was actually a whistleblower. And with that, the UN provided him with 200,000 euros for mistreatment. He used that money to create World Remit, which is one of the most successful and biggest companies out there that is allowing for a lot of the diaspora community to send money to back home to their loved ones. I mean, I for sure have used World Remit before. World Remit, as successful as it is about to reach unicorn status, expecting to hit about $1 billion mark. And that is Ismail Ahmed, the remittance king. And at number 3, we have Afwahirsch, who has her backgrounds and her roots in Ghana but was born and raised in the UK. Few people have had as much influence as her on how Britain looks at its race relations. She is a TV presenter but also a strong advocate for some of the ways that Britain has been telling the story of Black lives across the world. Especially after the Black Lives Matter movement, she made a strong point to relate a lot of the relationships between Britain's slavery background and colonialism period. She has called for a lot of the dismantling of racially insensitive monuments back in 2017, which actually led to the removal of those monuments in 2020. This year, Hirsch has been all over media promoting her documentary called African Renaissance, When Art Meets Power. It's a 3-part documentary that looks at Ethiopia, Kenya, and Uganda, depicting some of the unsung African cultural influence. And I would definitely recommend that you take a look at some of the documentary series that she has on YouTube, and I'll have them linked on the description below, so make sure to check on those. And next we have Akon, who we all know as one of the most amazing musicians of the early 2000s. He has actually been making major moves in the African continent. He has been promoting sustainable use of electricity using solar panels in his project called Akon Lighting Africa. Akon, being born and raised in Senegal, he moved to the US at a young age and pursued his career as a musician, but then came back to the African continent to make some change. He's been speaking out about African unity and what a united Africa can become. Akon's initiative was a smashing success by providing 14 countries, including Senegal, Guinea, and Sierra Leone, with sustainable electricity. In 2016, Akon's lighting initiative came out and rolled out with a list of accomplishments, including the 100,000 solar-powered street lamps installed in 480 African communities throughout 16 nations. And all of that had created 5,500 jobs. At number 5, we have my very favorite, Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. You probably know her as the writer of writers, the feminist, outspoken woman that has been able to transform the single story of Africa as she took it upon multiple stages of TED Talks and interviews that have gone viral. So if you have not checked her out, I will definitely have her links below in the description as well. But Chimamanda is definitely an influential writer and speaker that has contributed to a lot of the ways in which the world sees Africa. She has succeeded in no small measure, I would say. Her book, Half of the Yellow Sun, had won the Women's Prize for Fiction, was later voted at its 25-year anniversary, I believe, the Winner of Winners Award. And her influence, even outside of the literature world, has been immense. As somewhat of a global icon, I think her video about everyone should be a feminist, or let me get the title, yeah, we should all be feminists, is definitely one I would recommend that you follow. And she really talks a lot about gender imbalance, gender equality, and how we can achieve that as feminists. So I will have the link below. Check her out. Chimamanda, one of my favorites. And at number 6, we have Shola Akinlade from Lagos, Nigeria. So starting out as a humble engineer, he found a business model or market within the African continent about the electronic payment system. Akinlade and his co-founder Ezra pretty much disrupted Africa's payment system, went on to process over 50% of Africa's online space. So after having a successful run for at least 5 years since its founding, they were bought off by Stripe, which is a US company, but in a deal of over $200 million worth, they bought his business. And as the latest African tech entrepreneur to notch a multi-million-dollar sale, Akinlade and his company pretty much showcases that African tech is the future. And next, for number 7, we have a humanitarian icon, Aisha Yusuf from Nigeria. So in 2014, when the headlines of the kidnapping of schoolgirls in Chibok by Boko Haram has been pretty much heard all over the world, she was then the co-founder of the Bring Back Our Girls movement that really was inspirational, that was heard across the world. She had that global influence that was able to raise awareness about such a serious matter. And in 2019, she was named by The Guardian the Voice of Humanity, and has also been described in a lot of the Twitter pages as a superhero and as Queen Amina of our time, which is definitely praise to her. And at number 8, looking at the political aspect of things, we have Emma Theofelus. On a continent with one of the oldest political leaders, spare a thought for 24-year-old Emma Theofelus of Namibia to be one of the youngest MPs and ministers. As Namibia's Deputy of Information and Communication, she was thrown into the deep end of the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic. Her job was to clearly develop and design clear communication of COVID-19 protocols and movements, and was really able to have the people follow these guidelines and maintain or at least limit the number of COVID-19 impacts within the country. And Namibia fared better than other African countries in the fight against the pandemic. And as a youth activist since her teen years, she definitely symbolizes the growing young activist generation that is really trying to impact and change the demographic of the politics of the African continent. And following up, we have one of my favorites, Ayisha Yesufu, who I've been following for quite some time now. She is a Tunisian diplomat, a youth activist, a feminist, and a youth envoy for the African Union. She came to prominence in 2010 as a blogger during the Tunisian Revolution. Her blogs were published in Open Democracy and Al Jazeera and many more sites. She subsequently traveled across Africa to support and lead some of the young social movements, some of the youth-led social movements. In mobilization, in blogging, she really found her power with speaking out and using the media as an outlet to, one, spread awareness about the specific things that are happening, but also to reach out for support and to pretty much defy and speak up against power. She has been recognized and awarded for her accomplishments and contributions. In 2019, she received the Gates Foundation Campaigning Award, and she was also named as Forbes' Most Powerful Women in Africa. And she is definitely one of the most young and influential people of Africa that we are really looking up to, and I can't wait to see more of her. And I'll definitely have her links on the description below, so make sure to check her website. And as for number 10, it is going to be some of your picks, so you let me know, who would you say has been one of the most influential icons or people or entrepreneurs within Africa? Let me know in the comment section below, and if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it. Subscribe to this channel for more content, and until I see you on the next video, have a great one, you guys.